Now to that bombshell verdict handed down today in New York. For the first time ever in our nation's history, a former president of the United States has been convicted on felony criminal charges. The 12-person jury finding Donald Trump guilty on all 34 counts he was facing, ultimately deciding that Trump knew about the hush money given to adult film star Stormy Daniels and was intent on keeping rumors of his affair from voters in the 2016 election.
I did my job. We did our job. Many voices out there. The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people, and they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
Outside the courthouse following the verdict, a chaotic scene, a mix of protests and cheers. However, so far tonight, there have been no reports of widespread unrest across the country. With that trial verdict now in, the next big question on everyone's mind is how will this all impact Donald Trump's current bid for the White House? KRDO 13's Tyler Cunnington joins me live in studio now after speaking with legal and criminal experts as well as residents here in Colorado Springs. Tyler, what did you gather from those conversations today?
Yeah, Heather, first and foremost, Donald Trump will be able to continue his campaign. There's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that prevents a felon from holding office. What this could mean, though, is that both sides of this presidential race could use that verdict to galvanize their efforts moving forward. And only time will tell how that verdict will affect undecided voters. Despite the historic verdict handed down today, finding former President Donald Trump guilty on over 30 felonies, he's still on track for the November 2024 election.
I do not see a way that he has kept off any of the 50 state ballots as a result of his felony.
There are still questions, though, about Trump's most ardent supporters and whether they will view the jury's decision as unbiased and fair.
For there to be a conviction, it had to be a unanimous verdict. That means all 12 jurors had to say that he was guilty.
And they did on all 34 counts related to falsifying business records.
We have to trust that our judicial system is doing the best it can. Otherwise, we'll live in a lawless land.
As for independent voters, Professor of Law at CU Boulder, Doug Spencer, says this verdict could shift the tides, with 48% of voters here in Colorado registered as unaffiliated.
We'll see in polling in the next few weeks whether those independent voters, of whom there's a lot in our state in Colorado, whether they really do have concerns about this and whether they'll turn their attention to other things.
For those like Eric Anderson, bearing a Trump for Prison flag in downtown Colorado Springs Thursday afternoon, the verdict was long overdue.
The American people are finally seeing that money can't buy you out of the jurisdictional process.
Meanwhile, Christian Currier, who says he's not a diehard Trump supporter, says he would still vote for him and thinks that probation or jail time would be fine.
Unfortunately, he's in a situation where he put himself in that situation and he's got to deal with the consequences.
Now, Trump's sentencing date is set for July 11th, but one of my experts told me today it's not likely that Donald Trump will have to run his campaign from a jail cell. That's more an unlikely scenario. It's more so that a trial he will appeal that decision and delay any immediate consequences. Okay, so we now know what the sentencing date is. That's going to be in July. What then could happen from there out? So pretty much, Heather, it's going to be that judge, Juan Mercan, Trump has been very vocal about criticizing, and that's what those experts stressed to me today. He will make a ruling on whether he'll have to pay a fine, be on probation, or face prison time. And each of those counts carries up to 4 years in jail. So we will have to see.
And you touched on the independent voter here in Colorado. They make up the biggest voting bloc in our state.
Yeah, almost 50%.
Generally, independent voters lean left. So whether that will have much of an impact here in Colorado, it might be minimal.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's something that those experts were saying to keep an eye on across the country. A lot of those swing states, if Colorado isn't one of them, there's still those handful that we always keep an eye on every election.
November 5th is still coming.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, thanks.